Why does a woman turn to her boyfriend even when her husband gives her everything? Outline 1, attention-grabbing hook. The unseen emptiness start with a gripping story or a hypothetical, emotionally charged scenario that immediately resonates with the audience. Challenge the idea that material abundance or surface-level stability equates to fulfillment. Draw listeners in by highlighting a universal truth. No matter how much is a given, a woman's heart, her need for connection, and her craving for true understanding cannot be bought. The hook must be emotionally raw, intensely vivid, and crafted to pull the audience into the core message. Psychological depth. The missing piece of emotional fulfillment. Peel back the layers of why external success and comfort fail to satisfy the deeper needs of the human soul, particularly for women. Explore the psychology behind emotional neglect. The power of feeling truly seen and heard, and how unmet emotional needs drive even the most stable-seeming relationships to rupture. Provide clear, actionable insights into what true connection looks like and why emotional intimacy is more valuable than material gifts. 3. Motivational insights, the power to change the narrative shift from problem to solution. Empower both women and men to break free from superficial connections and to cultivate a relationship where emotional intimacy thrives. Speak directly to the listener's soul, offering actionable strategies, listening with intent, vulnerability, presence, and authenticity. Show them how to transform their relationships by prioritizing emotional fulfillment over material provision. 4. Electrifying conclusion. The ultimate call to action. End with a powerful, no-nonsense call to action. Leave the audience with a lasting, unforgettable challenge to step into their power, whether as women reclaiming their right to be fully seen or as men rising to meet their partner's deeper needs. Make it clear. True love isn't about everything in the material sense. It's about everything that matters emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. Now, let's expand Section 1 into 600, 700 words of pure, high-impact, emotionally charged, and motivational speech content. Section 1 expanded. The unseen emptiness. Imagine a woman standing in a home that gleams with polished marble floors and the soft glow of chandeliers. Every corner whispers comfort. Every detail shouts success. She has the car, the diamonds, the vacations that would make anyone envious. From the outside, it looks like she has everything a person could ever desire. But inside, behind that carefully painted smile, there's an ache that money can't silence. Because here's the truth no one dares to speak out loud. A woman doesn't just need things. She needs to feel. She needs to feel cherished, not just provided for. She needs to feel understood, not just accommodated. She needs to feel chosen every single day. And when that need isn't met, when her heart whispers, "I'm lonely," in a room full of luxury, it's not long before she starts looking for connections somewhere else. This isn't about greed. It's not about insatiable desires. It's about the quiet death of the soul that happens when love becomes transactional. When affection turns into obligations. When presence is there, but the essence, the spark that ignites true intimacy, is absent. And that's when the cracks appear, invisible to the outside world. Because while a husband might give her the world, she's starving for what the world can't buy. Presence, attention, desire that burns deeper than obligation. Picture her sitting at a dinner table, dressed in her finest, yet feeling invisible as he checks his phone. Imagine her voice softening, fading because she's learned that speaking louder only pushes him further away. The house may be filled with things, but her heart is empty. And in that emptiness, she meets someone else. Maybe a friend. Maybe a man who leans in and listens when she talks. Maybe someone who looks at her as if she's the only woman in the world. And suddenly her heart catches fire again. Not because he offers more, but because he offers less of the material and more of what truly matters. This is the breaking point. The moment when she realizes that all the gifts in the world can't replace the gift of feeling truly seen. And in that moment, she turns not out of rebellion, not out of betrayal, but out of a desperate need to feel alive again. Here's the shocking truth, the one that makes the story not just hers, but ours. We all need to feel chosen. We all crave connection so deeply that when it's missing, no amount of material comfort can fill the void. A woman turns to her boyfriend not because she's ungrateful for what her husband provides, but because her spirit is gasping for air. And this isn't just her story. It's a wake-up call for all of us. It's a reminder that love is not a contract. Love is not a checklist of things. It's presence. It's attention. It's the quiet look that says, "You are my world." It's the way you lean in, not away when she speaks. It's the little things, the touch on her back as she passes, the whisper in her ear when no one's looking, the note left on her pillow that says, "I see you and I love you still." Because when a woman feels emotionally abandoned, she may still be physically there, but her heart is already halfway out the door. And when someone else sees her, hears her, cherishes her, it's not about the thrill of something new. It's about reclaiming the parts of herself she thought she had to bury to survive. So I challenge you today, whether you're a man listening to this or a woman feeling the ache in her own soul, look deeper. Look beyond the diamonds, beyond the trips, beyond the gestures that look good on the outside. Look into the heart that's quietly asking, "Do you see me?" Because the truth is, no amount of giving can make up for the feeling of being emotionally invisible. And when we forget that, we lose not just each other, we lose ourselves. Section 2, Psychological Depth, the missing piece of emotional fulfillment. Written in the same powerful, emotionally compelling style, we live in a world that teaches us to measure love in numbers, and how many gifts are given, and how many vacations are taken, and how many promises are made. But here's what no one tells you. Love measured in numbers is love that leaves the soul empty. It's not the luxury that fills a woman's heart. It's the quality of connection that fuels her desire to stay, to give, to fight for a relationship. And this is where it gets real. Because even when a woman's world is draped in gold, when the house is grand, the car is luxurious, and her wardrobe sparkles, she may be standing in a mansion yet feel lonelier than someone in a one-bedroom apartment with nothing but a mattress on the floor. Why? Because her heart was never designed to thrive on material comfort alone. Her heart is built for meaning. It's built for a man who doesn't just provide, but one who prioritizes, who doesn't just promise, but one who delivers presence, who doesn't just say the words, but one who embodies them in action. You see, when we peel back the layers of human psychology, what we find is this undeniable truth. The human soul craves emotional resonance. We're wired not just to survive, but to connect, to feel understood, validated, appreciated. For a woman, this means she's not looking for a man who gives her the world. She's looking for a man who makes her feel like she is his world. And when that's missing, when the man she married becomes more focused on his work, his status, his image, or even his own comfort, her heart starts to fade into the background. Not because she wants it to, not because she doesn't love him, but because she feels like her emotional oxygen has been cut off. Imagine what it feels like to pour your soul into a relationship, to stand by someone's side through storms and sunshine, and yet feel unseen. Imagine what it's like to speak, but feel unheard, to touch, but feel untouched. This isn't about wanting amore in the sense of greed. It's about wanting more meaning. A woman's heart needs to be engaged, not just maintained. She doesn't just want flowers on Valentine's Day. She wants to feel desired in the ordinary moments. She doesn't just want a grand vacation once a year. She wants to feel cherished in the simple daily interactions. And when that's missing, when her husband checks out emotionally, even as he shows up physically, she starts to question her own worth. This is how it happens. Slowly, silently. Her laughter becomes quieter. Her smile becomes more practiced. The light in her eyes dims until one day someone else enters the picture. Not with grandeur, but with presence. Maybe it's a man who listens without glancing at his watch. Maybe it's someone who notices the way her eyes light up when she talks about her passions. Maybe it's a person who makes her feel seen, really seen. And here's the psychological bombshell. When a woman's emotional needs aren't met, her brain starts seeking that connection elsewhere. It's not a conscious betrayal. It's a survival instinct. The heart needs to be fed. When it's starved, it goes looking. And it's not looking for more gifts, more trips, more stuff. It's looking for substance. I want to speak directly to the men in the room, the ones who think that giving her everything is enough. It's not. She doesn't just need your wallet. She needs your heart. She doesn't just need your presence in the room. She needs your presence in her world. The woman you married is not looking for someone who can solve problems with money. She's looking for someone who will listen when she cries, hold her when she breaks, celebrate her victories when no one else notices. And to the women out there who feel unseen, unheard, unvalued, I see you. You are not crazy for wanting more. You are not ungrateful for craving connection. Your heart was made for depth, for presence, for love that transcends the surface. And you don't have to apologize for that. This is your wake-up call. This is the moment to recognize that love without emotional intimacy is like a garden without sunlight. It may survive for a time, but eventually it withers. The most powerful relationships are not built on what we give in material terms, but on what we invest emotionally. So let this be your turning point. Whether you're the man who needs to step up and bring his heart back into the relationship, or the woman who needs to stand up and demand to be seen, today is the day to rewrite the story. Because love that's real isn't about everything in the material sense. It's about everything in the emotional, spiritual, and psychological sense. And if you're brave enough to give that, you'll never have to fear her heart wandering. Because when a woman feels emotionally fulfilled, she doesn't want anyone else. She's already found her everything. Here's the expansion of Section 3, Motivational Insights, the power to change the narrative, written in the same high-energy, emotionally stirring style. Now is the moment to stop looking outside yourself for answers and start owning the power within to change the story. You see, too many of us walk around thinking that life just happens to us, that we are passengers watching the train move along a track we didn't choose. But let me tell you something that will shake you to your core. You are not a passenger. You are the conductor. You're the one laying down the tracks. You are the author of your story, and you can flip the script anytime you decide. Here's the hard truth. If a woman finds herself turning to another man despite her husband giving her everything, it's not because she's shallow or selfish. It's because her soul is crying out for meaning, and she hasn't been able to find it in the place she thought she would. But this is not a story of betrayal. It's a story of unmet needs, of silent suffering, of a cry for connection that was left unheard for too long. This is where the real power lies. Because the moment you recognize that the story doesn't have to continue this way, that you can interrupt the pattern, challenge the narrative, and create a love so strong, so real, so unshakable that no temptation could ever pull it apart. That's when everything changes. For the men listening right now, I want you to hear me. Your power isn't in the size of your paycheck or the weight of your wallet. It's not in how many vacations you plan or how many gifts you buy. Your true power, the kind that makes a woman's heart beat faster, the kind that makes her feel safe, desired, and irreplaceable, comes from your emotional availability. It's in your willingness to show up not just physically, but emotionally, to lean in, listen, and really see her. To stand beside her, not because it's convenient, but because it's necessary. And for the women listening, I need you to understand something vital. You are not a too much for wanting more. You are not a difficult or a demanding for needing depth. Your heart was designed for meaningful connection. Don't ever apologize for expecting that. But here's the twist. You can't just wait for someone else to fix it. You have to be the one to lead. Lead the conversation. Lead by showing up as your most authentic, vulnerable self. Led by demonstrating what it means to give love with depth, with intention, with presence. Because here's the truth. Relationships are not static. They're dynamic. They grow, shift, and evolve based on what you bring to the table. And when you start showing up differently, the energy between you changes, the connection deepens, the space between you closes, and the temptation to look outside for fulfillment fades away because it's already being fed from within. Think of it like this. Imagine a garden that's been left untended. The soil is dry, the plants are withering, and weeds are creeping in. Now, you can look at it and say, it's ruined, it's too far gone. Or you can roll up your sleeves, dig your hands into the dirt, pull out the weeds, water the soil, and start planting new seeds. It won't happen overnight, but with consistent care and presence, that garden will bloom again, stronger and more beautiful than before. The same goes for love. If your relationship feels dry, if the connection feels brittle, you can choose to give up, or you can choose to water it with attention, with presence, with love that's felt, not just spoken. You can choose to break the cycle of disconnection and create a new narrative. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's worth it because when you reclaim your power, when you stop waiting for external circumstances to change and instead focus on what you can control, you unlock a love that's unshakable, a love that doesn't just survive the storms, but thrives because of them. This is your moment. Whether you're the man who realizes it's time to bring your heart back into the relationship, or the woman who recognizes her worth and refuses to settle for crumbs, this is your call to action. It's time to stop living on autopilot, to stop accepting surface-level connection, to stop saying, this is just how it is, and start saying, this is how it's going to be. Because when you show up differently, when you lean in, when you choose presence over perfection, when you prioritize connection over convenience, you don't just change your relationship, you change everything. You change how you see yourself, how you show up in the world, how you inspire others to rise higher, love deeper, and live more fully. So decide, right here, right now, that this story, your story, will not be defined by silence, by disconnection, by unmet needs. It will be defined by courage, by presence, by love that is raw, real, and relentless. The power is already yours. You just have to claim it. Section 4, Actionable Strategies, How to Reignite Emotional Connection. It's one thing to recognize the need for change. It's another to take the steps that make that change a reality. This is where most people stop. They nod. They agree. They feel the inspiration, but then they get caught in the quicksand of daily life. The routine, the distractions, the old habits. They think of tomorrow, I'll try harder, but tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year. And before they know it, the opportunity to turn it around, the chance to reignite the spark has faded. But that's not going to be your story. Not this time. This time, you're not just going to nod and agree, you're going to act. And I'm going to show you how. First, understand this. Reigniting emotional connection isn't about sweeping romantic gestures or grand apologies. It's about consistent, intentional presence. It's about small daily choices that say, I see you, I hear you, you matter. So here's what you do. Start with the power of attention. When was the last time you looked your partner in the eyes and really listened? Without your phone buzzing, without your mind racing to the next thing on your to-do list. Tonight, when you sit across from each other, put down the devices, lean in, hold eye contact, let them finish their thoughts. Reflect their words back to them so they know you're really listening. Then comes the language of appreciation. Every day, make it your mission to find one thing, just one that you genuinely appreciate about them. It could be the way they laugh, the strength they show at work, the quiet way they care for others, and tell them out loud. Not just in a text, but with your voice, your eyes, your touch. Remind them that they are seen and valued, not for what they do, but for who they are. Next is the gesture of vulnerability. I know this is hard, especially if you've built walls around your heart to protect yourself from past hurts. But real connection can't happen when those walls are up. So take them down one brick at a time. Share something real. Your fears, your dreams, your regrets, your hopes. When you do this, you invite your partner into the sacred space of your heart. You're saying, I trust you enough to let you see me. And here's the kicker. When you open up, you give them permission to do the same. Suddenly, you're not two strangers coexisting in the same house. You're allies in the same battle, teammates on the same mission. Then there's the power of ritual. Create small rituals that bring you together consistently. It could be as simple as a morning coffee shared in silence, a weekly date night, even if it's just a walk around the block. The ritual isn't about the activity. It's about showing up. It's about saying, no matter how busy life gets, we make time for each other. Don't underestimate the power of physical touch. Studies have shown that touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. A hug, a hand on the shoulder, a kiss on the forehead, these are not just gestures. They're anchors that ground you in each other's presence. So don't wait for special occasions to reach out. Do it now. Do it often. And for those moments when the distance feels insurmountable, remember the power of shared goals. Sit down together and ask, what are we building? What do we both want? It's easy to drift apart when you're sailing without a destination. But when you're steering toward a shared vision, every challenge becomes a wave you ride together. Finally, there's the courage to communicate the hard stuff. Connection doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means facing it head on with love and respect. If something's bothering you, Don't let resentment fester. Speak up, but do it with kindness. Use I statements. Focus on how you feel, not on blaming. And when they speak their truth, listen without defensiveness. Let me tell you, this work is not easy. It will challenge you. It will push you to face parts of yourself you've been avoiding. It will require patience, persistence, and a heart that's willing to try again. But if you do it, if you show up day after day with presence, with love, with intention, you will see something extraordinary happen. You'll feel the distance closing, the walls coming down, the laughter returning, the desire rekindling. You'll look at each other and realize that what once felt lost was never gone. It was just waiting for you to fight for it. So don't wait. Don't let the old story define you. Take the first step tonight. Hold their hand. Look them in the eyes. Say, I'm here. I'm not giving up. Let's make this work. Because love isn't found, it's built. And starting today, you're going to build something unbreakable.